What's up guys, Guns for Newbies back here, and today I wanted to go over an update on my Sand Viper. So I wasn't expecting to make this video, but there was a very big recent update, so it kind of got pushed to the front of the list. Now, before we get into the video, I want to thank everyone who's liked and subscribed and continuously shared the content. We're starting to grow at a pretty good rate, I would say. So if you want to become a supporter of the channel, please do go to the link in the description. There's a Patreon link, and you can sign up there. There are some future ideas I have for those supporters we have that are going to be pretty cool. So as we continuously grow, that is going to be something that expands. So we left off the video a couple days ago, actually, with how the Sand Viper was going. Now, nothing on terms of like the customer service has essentially changed. There was a couple of people there that I talked with. They were just kind of trying to keep me updated every time I would reach out. But really, they don't have any contact with the machinist, they call it, the actual person who makes the firearm. And that is a little bit concerning. Now, fast forward into today, so that way this doesn't get drug out into a super huge video. But the gun is back, and to their understanding, I was told it is a brand new gun. I just opened the box. I haven't actually seen the gun or anything at all, so I'm kind of nervous to see how that is, and I wanted to get all these initial reactions on camera. However, we left off with it was supposed to be just a new slide, which had me a little bit worried because the frame had damage, as previously shown in the photos. Now, when I believe he's the gunsmith, he called me. I was very surprised to hear from him. I thought it was the manager for customer service, and that's who I was waiting on a call from. He ended up telling me that, in fact, it was or I guess it is a brand new gun. So, unknown to them, they did send me a new gun, or at least that's what I'm led to believe. So, what we're going to do is we are going to see if that is the case. So we're gonna take it out of the package now. So let me get that on the table here. So this is the bag that originally came with, and we'll see. I believe this is mine. There was a small stain on the back from when I started having issues. I set the gun back down, and that's kind of how it got stained. So let's see what we have here. They did, so the update was I talked to them yesterday, and then they overnighted this back to me. So I'm very surprised that I got it back so quickly, but they did overnight it there every time I was having problems. So that was a nice service that they had. However, that was just the case. Looks like they gave me some extra patches maybe. Looks like I got a Taran Tactical patch, Taran Tactical coaster. No, it's a patch. So other patch, some Trigicon stuff. I don't remember any of this being in their Freedom Prize. A bigger Taran Tactical patch. So we got the other SRO screws that I had put in there because I don't like the 1/16 hex head they have in there. And so that's a massive patch. We will see how this gun shakes out. Just gonna put all this back in here for now, and hopefully that's end of our Taran Tactical troubles. So we will see. Which, to be fair, the Pit Viper that I had no issues, but obviously this one's drug out pretty dramatically. So I have a feeling this gun's gonna be oiled to like crazy. It is in bubble wrap, so we'll see how it goes. It is covered in oil. It does feel different than the last one, for sure. They did mount my SRO on here. I'm not sure if that's sighted in or not. There's a 1 MOA. It does appear, it looks new for sure. The frame on the other one, when it seized up, I tried to push the slide pin out at the correct location and it wouldn't come out. So there was a couple marrings there. So I am curious. It looks like it is new. What we're going to do is we're going to take the slide off, and there was a ton of damage on the top of the frame here, right underneath where the slide rails hold it on. So we will see if that's the case. The hammer has significantly less markings, but it does have a mark, so I think they just maybe did some dry fire on it. I'm not really sure. Magwell, everything else looks new. There's no markings on the, because this will get marked up pretty easy on the beaver tail, the safety. There's like a little sliver it shows. That gets marked up pretty good on the sides here where it starts to wear. It looks brand new, so I guess we can, yeah. The trigger is significantly heavier. It's leading me to believe this is in fact a brand new gun. So let's take it apart real quick and see if that's the case on the frame. Everything looks pretty stellar as of right now. God, I love the optic cut, how the glass sits right on top of that. That helps you get some very accurate shots even at distance. So let's take that guy apart and we'll be right back. So trying to see if this turns off because yeah, it does. Yeah, everything's leading me to believe this is a new gun. It feels like a new grip. I had Loctited mine, so there's no way I would have gotten it off just by twisting it. So let's take it off just to confirm. We'll get some images on video, I guess, or I guess some, get it on video, and we will be back shortly. Okay guys, so trying to see if I can get this to focus. There are no marks underneath on the slide, so it is appearing to be a brand new gun, which is very exciting. So okay guys, so we got the gun back together. We haven't been to the range yet. Just to show you guys, I have taken this gun apart several times. I got this coated link that fits exactly for the pin to disassemble this, made by a gunsmith for me. So he cut it exactly to the same spec that I needed for this. And as you can see, everything is functioning. We'll do a safety check. Obviously there's no magazine, there's nothing in the gun, but we'll go ahead and do a dry fire again. So you can see, reset, everything is working as it should be. So next we'll take this guy to the range and hopefully I'll have a trouble-free Sand Viper for how it should have been. So you guys can see the accuracy, it's pretty stellar. The trigger gets a lot better as you put more rounds through it, but right now it's definitely at the top of its weight that it's going to have. So we've had no malfunctions. Let's just see if we can put a couple in the same hole and kind of go from there. That first one, I felt it swing. It's a lot heavier. I'm used to my Atlas trigger. My Atlas is like half of that. And as this breaks in, it'll be a lot better, but you can just see that group is phenomenal. So I put 4 in here, and then 1 of them I swung. These springs are a little bit weak, so that's why I'm not getting locked back. A little bit older, some mags. Some decent groups. I've noticed that it does that. When you slam the mag in, the slide goes forward, which is kind of nice, but with my last one can do it. Springs in those guys. I think it definitely tracks. Like, and nothing I've felt for how light it is. It seems to return.
The return. I was gonna say the return to zero, like the return.
Yeah, and I think the way they do that is this port is just so giant in combination with the little like brakes there on the side. But since it has a such a big port, it's able to just shoot that up, and it's not too heavy to where it gets malfunctions by overcompensation, and it works. I mean, it just does. It feels amazing to shoot.
Like, it's just grippy enough where it feels good in my hand.
Do you prefer that over like like not texture but like feeling and weight wise? Do you prefer that over like a Chile, for example, like a steel grip?
I personally do. I feel like the Chile grip's a little too aggressive for me personally. I think this is aggressive enough to where it's not going to hurt my hands, but I have enough grip on there to give me that texture. I also like the width of the grip. Yeah. I feel like I can definitely get my hands around it, get a good grip on it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep shooting. So, so you guys know, we have about, looks like we burned through probably just about 100 rounds. So we have about 350 left. So we're going to keep going. And then we are going to just get the shooting video so you can see it all. And we're going to speed it up so you can see every round we have. So total we'll have about 450 through it today. And you guys can see if we have any issues with it, because really it shouldn't. That's not that many rounds for this gun to start malfunctioning. So we're going to get rolling through that. So it'll speed up, and then we'll come back at the end and we'll have some commentary on it. All right, last mag and a half. So we'll get this. Yeah, I touched against that. That is hot. I mean, we've been here about 15 minutes, maybe not even 15 minutes, and we're doing about 500. It's 450. It's like 455 rounds, to be exact. Yeah, let's finish it off.
it's been perfect. It shoots really, really well. We got it sighted in, and you know, as much as the problems I've had with the company, the gun is phenomenal. So hopefully this continues to be the case. I'm going to run and use this in USPSA, so we will get more rounds through it periodically as time goes, and you'll get continue to see updates. And we'll recap here in a little bit. We'll go back to the table and kind of sit down and go through everything, and we'll even get my wife's opinion on it and kind of go from there. So.
All right, guys. So now we are back from the range, and wanted to just recap everything. So we successfully got through 455 rounds to be exact, and I just had 5 laying around, so I threw that in there with everything else. But in terms of everything, just added a little bit of CLP, so that way we could just get some of the debris off of there. And I got this rag so you guys can kind of see how the gun is wearing. So I just got some slight marks here. Obviously the gun's safe. You just saw me pull that back, so there's nothing, no brass hanging out of the gun. Let's see if you can see the back of the hammer there. All in all, much better experience than when I first got the gun. It does shoot incredibly well, I will give it that. As much as I have complaints with the customer service, and granted, to get a new gun, or even as far as I understand a new gun, the top is labeled, the bottom I could not find the serialized part for, so I'm not 100% sure that is a brand new lower. I do know it's got a new slide stop lever, and then the whole upper is new as far as I know. The bottom feels new as well. A couple of the components that they put in here feel new, so it's leading me to believe it is new, but I don't know for sure because I couldn't find the serialized part. They said they match the top to the bottom and they're both serialized, so I guess if you can locate wherever that is, then you could prove that theory if it is new or not. But I don't know. It appears to be new. This one actually feels like, when you're messing with it, it feels like it's really, really smooth and precise fit, which the first one did not. So I would imagine it is new, but and for all the purpose of the actual firearm itself, doesn't really matter, because now there's no damage on it, and 2, it functions flawlessly. So my main concern why I wanted a new one, if they were going to repair it, was so that way I wouldn't run into issues, them sending me back a gun that wouldn't get through a magazine without having issues. But this one has been completely trouble-free so far. Again, we're only 450 rounds through it. I just got it back today when we're recording this, so ran to the range and did that. It is... I'm very excited to see where we go from here, so I plan to use this for USPSA, so we will see how that goes. And if anybody's familiar with USPSA, when you go do an outside course, sometimes you'll do anywhere from 200 to 300 rounds in a single setting, so the rounds kind of go pretty quick. So just stay tuned. We're going to do some more updates as we get further along, and kind of go from there. It looks like the front of the SRO here might have a little piece that's chipped off, which that sucks if this breaks. I just got this guy back actually too, so but that's something for another video, completely separate to the gun itself. I didn't really pay attention to this when I had first done it, so just getting up close to the camera here so you guys can see. I have a lot of natural light coming in, so I have some lights above me here, which is why I sit in this corner, and it's not really it's kind of contradicting it. But let me see if I can get this. There is no wobble whatsoever in this gun, like none. So I found that very interesting. My Pit Viper was not this way. Neither was my original Sand Viper. They both had a little bit of wobble left to right, and this one has none. So this is post the shooting video. The last Sand Viper literally had some audible, like you could shake it even a little bit and you'd get a little bit of side to side. Very, very minimal. It wasn't horrible, but it more resembled a cheaper 2011, I would say. But this one does not have that. So Slide feels completely different. The fitment on this one's significantly better. So we'll see how this gun progresses. All in all, I am very happy. I think that, you know, to sum this up, especially because the last video I had was very negative, I will say had things have been a little bit more organized, then I would have had no problem if they just said, you know what, give us 60 days, we'll give you a brand new firearms, you know, not an issue. But it was every 2 weeks this, every 2 weeks that. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who has your gun. We didn't get to talk to them this week, blah, blah, blah. So it kind of got very, very overwhelming to begin with, as you could imagine, right, when you pay a ton of money for a gun. But if you hear like, hey, sorry you had that concern, what we're going to do for you is we're going to get you a brand new firearm. You know, it'll only take, you know, between 60 and 90 days. That's much different than hearing, okay, give us 2 weeks and we're going to figure something out on that Friday. And then that Friday comes around and they're like, well, we didn't hear back from that machinist, so let's just give it a little bit more time. And then you go through that motion 4 or 5 times, right? And you have no idea what's going on. You don't know when you're going to actually come to a resolve. You don't know when you're going to be able to shoot your gun. Like, actually just knowing the deadline would have been a significant factor. Now, getting the gun back and shooting it and enjoying it, had I have known all it was going to be was 2 months, I wouldn't even have griped. I wouldn't even have made the last video at all, because I'm fine. I mean, I've done lots of, you know, waiting for firearms, so it's not a big deal to me. But the way it went, I think definitely could have been better. And so I think that you need to be prepared for that. In the event you don't get as lucky as I did for this result that I got, that would suck. But that is a potential factor as well for you if you are considering one of these guns to shoot. I will say it is phenomenal. It shoots like unlike anything else that I have or that I've ever shot. So for me, that's exactly what I was after. So that's why I chose to do it this way. But if that's not what you're after, and you're after something else that, you know, maybe is a little bit better in the customer service department, maybe something for you to consider. But either way, that's going to wrap up today's video. We're pretty far in it by the time we added all the range footage. I will say I am very happy with the resolve that I got a perfectly functioning gun. All the wear marks are gone off of the frame. Everything got resolved and the gun works now. You know, something unforeseen. Sounds like it doesn't happen a lot, but nevertheless it did happen. And so this is something, you know, buyer beware if you are willing to put up with that. I think it is a fantastic gun. It's definitely a really, really fantastic shooting gun. If that's something you don't want to deal with, I've already experienced it for you. So at least you got to see that and see what happened and determine if you even want to be in the same boat that I am. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next video. I was supposed to make the Atlas Artemis video, but this one obviously came in, so this one kind of skipped ahead of the queue. But next week we're going to do the Atlas Artemis 2,000 round review. So, and it's not like a gun review to like, here's all the specs and this and that. It's just what I'm seeing, my opinions, you know, how the guns wear and the quality, things like that. So it's going to be more informative than anything else if you're new to the channel and you're watching. So anybody who's returned knows I don't dive into just seeing this review is this gun, it's got this 3-point whatever inch barrel, it's got a 2-pound whatever, it's a pre-cock strike trigger. Like, I don't really dive into that. I'm more into what you'll get out of it, how the experience is, how the ownership is it reliable, things like that. So again, if you are a new viewer, remember to like and subscribe and stay tuned for the future content. And if you're a returning viewer, please do the same if you're not already subscribed. So thanks so much, and I look forward to catching you guys hopefully next week.